Alright, bit of welding today, guys. What are we working on here? Get around all this stuff here. So we're working on this shroud intake, auger intake, and right here, the weld has broke. Can you guys see that? Yeah, it's kind of focusing there. So we got a bit of a weld on, just like you see here. We got a nice, I don't know if I'd say it's nice, but we got a weld there. We have to weld this. Because what happens is everything starts flexing and the auger binds up. And I would say that's where a lot of the scraping came from. All right, get the shoe off. And then we'll get that paint belt off there. Get this clamped, get it welded. All right, let's clean this up a bit. Seems to turn free. Maybe a little bit more. There. Yeah, right there. See, that's where the old marks were. Right, we'll get the welder on. Do it. Grind that down smooth. Hey guys, we're back. More work on the snowblower. Today, fuel system. So, to start off with, pull the fuel tank, which looks like it means pulling this whole bracket, fuel tank, disconnecting this fuel line. I think we may, we'll see. If it's in good shape, it's not that hard. May save it, may toss it and put some tie going on there. Fuel's off, pull this off and pull this cover off. Pull the cover off the carburetor over here, carburetor, and see where we're at. Clean the tank out. What else? Tank. Need to disconnect. This has obviously been altered because someone's got a piece of twisted wire on there instead of a clamp. So put a number 2 Robertson screw there, holding that cover. And this black guy is the enricher, and that's the throttle, and that's the choke. Holding it on the other side. It's holding the muffler. Muffler's holding it there. Alright, it's off. Simple enough. Zoom you guys in a bit. How does this work? It's called an enrichener, but that's a good question. That is not an enrichener of any kind that I've ever seen. An enrichener puts more fuel, but what this is, and I'll just bring you guys up a little closer here. So, where's my hands? So there's the choke, full choke, half choke, well, no choke actually, sorry, no choke, half choke, and full choke, and their enrichener is this. It's just an extra choke is all it is, an extra choke for air. So once you're on full choke and you hold this, now you're fully choked. How's that sound? So that's already covering, I believe it's, you guys see in there, the peak in there? It's actually not fully, the butterfly valve choke is not fully covering the intake, the air intake. This enrichener fully covers the intake. So it's a little bit deceiving, but I think we understand how it works. We have the technology here. So to get the rest of this cover off, we're gonna have to, so there is a kill here. And how is that working? Can you guys see that? It grounds. So this is your ignition wire. This is the wire to the coil right here. If you guys can see that. Maybe you can't. Try to get you zoomed a bit. This is your wire to your coil. It's connected to this plate via two insulating washers. So this is basically never in contact with this plate. But this throttle arm is, and there's a contact under here so that when you come to off position, the throttle arm makes your connection between the ground and the coil lead connection there, your spark coil connection, and grounds it out. So again, pretty simple. All right, guys, we got the cover off. We got, wherever I put that, that's over there. That is a huge, big old heavy cast iron flywheel, huh? Man, man. Got decent compression. We're not going to pull the engine apart because it does run. So to get this apart, because we're going to pull the bowl and check the bowl, blow it all out, clean it up, reassemble it. Looks like the fuel line is okay, guys. We're just gonna reuse it again. Not so bad, still flexible. I do have some Tygon I could sub it with, but we'll just leave it. It's still in decent shape. A lot of things to work around to get this apart. We gotta pull the muffler off so we can get the bolts that hold the carburetor on. Carbon trader. What am I doing? Spraying brake clean on there. Apparently I forgot that brake clean doesn't look at anything that light at all like nut and bolt loosener. There we go. Try this again. Take two. Alright. Carburetor, or the muffler off. Whew, that's a long bolt. And that one comes off. All your goodies together. What is this? Well, let's see what we can. I think we shall leave a lot of stuff on there. I use this. I don't know if you guys have ever used this. It's called Javelin. It's actually one of the best nut and bolt looseners I've ever used. And I've used Aerocoil. I've used them all. It's one of the better ones. I think what we'll do is we'll take this. Guys, can you see that there? You can't see that. I'm talking and you can't see what I'm saying, huh? How about, there you go. Zoom in a touch. Right there, that arm for that. We need better cameras around this place. An arm for the linkage. this one here. We'll just take this little arm off here. Instead of undoing all the linkage in the rods and the spring and possibly bending them. So just remember that that was not exactly straight, it was slightly off center of it. That off. Today, just dropped the lock washer. That there. That's that. And that goes to that. Okay. Alright guys, we got the carburetor off. Carbon trader. Bit of a mess around to get this guy off. But we got it. There's more brackets holding this thing on than... Anyway, what is this? It is a patent pending Lawson Power Products, Grafton, Wisconsin, made in the USA. So, first of all, before we start anything here, let's give it a bit of a wash off with some carb cleaner. I don't have the luxury of having an ultrasonic tank, but who knows, maybe that'll be in my future. Those little ultrasonic cleaners apparently do a real nice job. So some carb cleaner that's going to give me probably skin cancer or something, I would guess. Just wash some of the grease and muck off this thing so we don't get it all over the place. That's probably good enough. Alright, so what parts do you got here, huh? So this part's your adjustable main jet. So that's your main metering jet. So basically when you're half throttle to wide open, you're on this main jet. This is your adjuster for it. If you don't know how to adjust it, well, I'll show you when I go to put this back on the blower, and we'll probably adjust it. I'll leave it as it was for now just to see where it's at, just as a baseline, and if we have to adjust it, we'll adjust it. This little guy right here, you see how it goes in and out like that? That is just a bowl drain. That's all that does. Doesn't do anything else. So when you're done for the season, you're done with the snowblower for the season, you push that, drain all the fuel out of the bowl, and you're done. Run the motor, basically run the motor till it runs out of fuel, and then there will always be a little bit sitting in the bowl, because you see how this bowl is kind of stepped. Right here it's stepped. Well, this is the deep part of the bowl. It's the shallow part of the bowl. And you drain that, that drains all the fuel out of the bowl, then you don't get a bunch of varnish in the bowl, and it doesn't plug up the main jet. Or over here, this is your primary jet, your low speed jet. So this governs your fuel air mixture basically at idle to quarter throttle, half throttle, somewhere in there basically. It meters in there. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Stumbling. It does less and less as you open the throttle up more and more. So by half throttle, it's doing virtually nothing, or it is doing nothing. But at idle, it's doing basically all the work. What else we got in here? There's the idle speed adjust. The only thing, the most important thing to remember here is that when you pull this apart, remember where these are set at. So either just leave them alone and adjust them later, or in this case, this low speed jet, what we'll do is we'll turn it all the way in, so we are half, 1 and a half. So 1.5 turns seated. Don't torque on it tight and damage the point, the sharp point of the needle, because when I pull this out, you'll see what that looks like. It's sharp, and if you push it and push it in, you'll blunt it, and then it won't do an effective job at metering the fuel in this case. Some of them meter air, some meter fuel. This meters fuel. There, you see? Can you guys see how sharp that is? Put that up there. If you crank on that, you'll dull it. You'll blunt it. It won't be effective. It won't work properly. Here, I'm just going to wipe this tank out. Why don't I? Yeah, you guys can see it's right in there, can't you? Sure you can, huh? Let's get you down here. So that's pulled out. That looks all right. With the bowl off, brass. Here, we'll show you this main jet. So this main jet has got a needle in it as well. Can you guys, oh boy, be tough. You can see it down in there. I'll point to it. Right down inside there. See it there? So when you turn this, that needle goes further up into the needle jet, which is right down in there, which leads right inside as your main fuel entry point into the bore of the carburetor. So anyway, turning that further in leans out the mixture. Turning it further out richens the mixture. And the way the fuel gets in here to get up into the carburetor is through this hole right here. What I do usually is I have torch tip cleaners, and I just go with a small one because they are, you can see them, they are actually a bit abrasive there because they're meant for cleaning torch tips, but they will enlarge a brass jet, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to make it bigger. It's fine the way it is. Just make sure it's not plugged is all. You can confirm that by blowing on here, which I'm doing, and I'll plug it off. Yep, that didn't help at all because I couldn't get my finger over it. Let's try it again. Yep, so it's good. I could confirm that it's, I could probably pull the main jet out. Should I do it? I can give it a try, but I can actually feel it in there. I can tell it's not plugged. Yeah, it's good. So anyway, that's the main. Next, take the bowl off. And that seal will have to be replaced, or we'll try it. It's broken. The bowl seal. It's looking a bit cracked too. I'll see if I can find one. If I can find one, I'll replace it. Otherwise, I'll try to reuse it. But yeah, it's seen better days. If you're looking inside this bowl, there's a little bit of stuff in there. I can clean that up pretty quick. Not a lot. If you look inside, you'll see it's also stepped just like it is reversed over here. So the way it's stepped is down at the bottom there, where it's the deepest. That is opposite of the needle and seat. So basically this can kind of go, the float can tip into that bowl and allow fuel then to enter into the bowl, and then when it gets here, it shuts off. So that's the way that's supposed to go. We'll wash that out. Is the needle and seat sealing? Well, you can check that by going like this. So here's your fuel inlet. Let's just stick our hose on there so I don't have to get my lips too close. And so right now, with that float there, I don't know if my jet fell out. my needle fell out of the seat when I was playing with it. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to take that pin out. Like, why is that pouring through there like that? All that air going through there. Let's just pull that pin. And we'll set it back in. Whoops. I'm all over the place now. You guys remember which way this went? I didn't memorize that. It went that way, maybe. Gonna have to fuss with it now, aren't I? Anyway, that goes down in there. I'm gonna have to see where that's gonna sit now on that float. But it's sitting in there now. Nothing. So it's good. Pop that out and I'll look at that later. See how I'm going to get that to sit back on there, because this sits like this, like so, and that needle and seat. See in there? Probably not enough light, is there? It just goes up and down in there. Close it off. What else we got? Same thing again. You can run a torch tip cleaner up inside there, and you should be able to see it enter into the bore of the carburetor. And I don't have a flashlight. Hey Herman, can you hand me that flashlight there, please? And if you can see that that enters in, just hold it over the, so these people can see it. That's right there. That's good. Can you guys see it? Yeah, there you can kind of see it shining there. So that means it's clear. So that's your needle jet. That's the name of it. So it's clear, no problems there. The only thing left is to flush out the passages with some carb cleaner and reassemble it. Go from there. Alright guys, shutting you off.